Hello. So I went ahead and I made another video. This video is actually involved with a capacitive touchpad that's made by SparkFun. It's actually called the, let's see, I believe the part's called the MPR121. Yep, that's what it's called. So I've just been kind of messing around with this a little bit just to kind of see if, can I get this to work out with an FPGA. So that'd be kind of fun. So this device actually works off of I2C, and as you can see there, you can see here's the serial clock line, serial data line. Then I have a few bits in there for just verification, done, confirm. Then there's also a line on this device that's called an interrupt, an IRQ. And basically what it does is when one of the touchpads is touched, it will actually send an interrupt. And it's an open collector. Actually, all of these pins are open collectors, so I actually have them all pulled up through 4.7K resistors. So when there's a touch on the pad, the line gets pulled low, and it more or less causes the state machine that I wrote to go through and read through the registers that contain the status of the touches on the pads. The initialization sequence goes through and configures, I want to say, like 34 registers, and it sets things like high tolerance, low tolerance, things like that. So when your finger touches, it knows where a good touch tolerance is, and it knows where a good release tolerance is. And some of the registers are also configured to ward off noise, things like that. Here's a simulation that more or less shows the whole thing in action. So on power up, it takes exactly, let's see, somewhere around 3 milliseconds to configure the device. The SPI interface, the I2C interface on this device can actually run at 400 kilohertz, and that's running at 400 kilohertz, and it can get all the configuration done at 3 milliseconds. So let's go ahead and see what it does. So again, I'm just kind of cycling through the 8 LEDs that are disposable on this Digilent Spartan 3E development board that I purchased. And so as it cycles through, you can see those 2 LEDs that just lit up there. Those would represent the done and the confirm. So let's go ahead and hit a few of these. So also, because this pad actually has 12 sensors, that's why it's cycling back and forth every 10 seconds. So for instance, at this interval, you can see that I'm actually and here's during this interval. So that's the upper bit. So you got 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I'm going to go through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it does it relatively quickly. So every time I hit a button or one of these capacitive touchpads, it will, like I was saying, it drives that interrupt line low, and then my state machine goes through and it reads what the state of the actual touch registers are. The 2 touch registers are address 0, 0, and 0, 1. So like any standard I2C interface, I'm more or less, lining up 0, 0, and then I'm doing a restart. Or not a restart, a restart, and then I'm doing a read, and then I do an acknowledge for the first read, and then with that acknowledge, it automatically increments the address. So that way I don't have to do the slave address with the read twice. I just do it once, read the first address, and then I acknowledge it, and then it automatically increments the I2C address because I acknowledged that I got the data. You'll see in a lot of I2C interfaces that if you don't acknowledge, that's usually meaning that you want to exit out, and there's actually good reason for that. It's when you don't acknowledge, it doesn't actually increment the internal address register, address pointer, and that's the reason why that's done. So this is a lot of fun. So it's nice and very pretty responsive. So you can see I just go all the way through them, and it just senses everything. It actually does multiple ones as well, so that's pretty cool. As you can see here, I can get all 4 of them going. So it's a pretty neat device. Check it out. It's on SparkFun's website. Capacitive touchpad, MPR121. Thanks for watching.